Big game coverage live from Glendale, Arizona. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Texas Cheer, and by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage from Phoenix continues, brought to you in part by Texas Cheer Liquor and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Andrew Sendejo, former Smithson Valley star, joining us now here on Radio Row, who, let's see, so far today, dude, you've been, thought you were a quarterback who was at one point the all-time leading passer somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
How many field goals did you make in a row? You know, they hear Sendejo and they automatically think kicker, right?
Yeah, probably. Or just by looking at me, they think I was probably a specialist of some sort.
Well, all right. So Sean Merriman just left.
Right.
You both are NFL dudes, defensive players, but
he's been removed longer than I have, and he still looks like he could play.
Dude, that's what we told him. It said, I mean, you could go start now,
At
tomorrow.
least looked the part, yeah.
It's crazy.
In warm-ups, he might pull his hamstring in the first quarter.
Now, you look like you could still play, although, I mean, you've only been retired for a year.
Yeah, so that's
or one season.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say for him to still be in as good a shape as he is pretty impressive.
Does that piss you off?
Well, we'll see.
Or does that motivate you?
When I'm that far removed, we'll see where I'm at. So.
Now, is it hard to break those habits, though? I mean, for so many years, you're having to keep your body in, tip-top shape. Is it hard to break those habits?
I think just you try to do what you can. I had a lot of surgeries, a lot of injuries, so still rehab a lot of that stuff, and to get that kind of itch out, so to speak, of doing something kind of physical.
When you and I have known each other since you were in high school, right? I did back then. I was doing all Smithson Valley games, so yeah. I mean, I think I've probably seen 60-70% of your high school games, right? And then Rice, and throughout your NFL career, we've stayed close. What's been the weirdest question you've been asked on Radio Row as you do the Radio Row circuit as a retired guy for the first time?
Man, I don't know if I've had any weird. I think this is the weirdest question when they asked me what it was like to be the franchise leader in postseason completions for the Detroit Lions. So I had to save this lady. I was trying to tell her, I was like, my quarterback career ended in high school as soon as it started. I had to do a fake field goal, and I just biffed it right in the ground, and they said, no, we're not running that anymore. And then when I got in the NFL, when I was on the punt team, I was the personal protector or fullback, whatever you want to call it. And we had the same type of play, a little roll pass, and it was a run pass option. And I was telling the guy, I said, I'm not passing it to you. I cannot throw. And so sure enough, in practice, biffed it again. And the coach said, we're taking that play out. He said, it's a run only play now. Like, there's no pass option. And I said, dude, I told you that I could not throw the ball.
All right, Andrew, defensive back, I've got to ask you, I can never run, and you can, or you could, or you probably still can. But what's it like when you're back there and you're out on an island all by yourself with a wide receiver and it's just you and him and you got to make a play?
Man, it depends on who it is. But at times it's could be a little terrifying, but other times you just rise to the occasion. And yeah, there are a lot of receivers that are, they're smaller, faster. And so that's where for me it was studying tape. Like, I had to study a ton of tape, had to know what they were doing so I could play at that speed. If I was just out there freestyling and just reacting the whole time, I would have maybe played 3 or 4 years in the league. But that was kind of my edge, was studying. I had a good memory, good feel for the defenses I was in, and so I was able to kind of be ahead of the play, so to speak.
Andrew Sendejo joining us here on the Blitz on Radio Row in Phoenix. You ended with a nice 12-year NFL career. And you think about your journey coming out of Rice and, with the Cowboys for a second when you had the worst porn stash any NFL player could have had.
Debatable.
I mean, Gardner Minshew gave you a run for your money, but you were first. You were ahead of Minshew mania,
correct,
man. But you catch on with Minnesota. What was the difference there? Is that when we hear, like, man, if you get in the right situation, you're kind of an example of that. I mean, and that's not just for you, but a lot of players, if they get in the right situation, how do you know when you're in the right situation?
Yeah, it's really just gaining the coach's trust, that they know they can trust you, they can depend on you. And I think, like you said, that's how I stuck around in Minnesota. I found my niche as a, special teams player, special teams coach, and I fit well in the schemes. He also put me in the right spots, in the right positions and allowed me to make plays and stick around. And then I kind of had these two different careers. I was just on special teams, fighting for a roster spot every year, playing in the last preseason game, just really grinding it out. And then it kind of transitioned. I finally got an opportunity to play on defense, and then earned a starting job, and then kind of had the second half as a starter. And then, in the last 2 years, it was like, okay, this guy can play defense and special teams. So you just have value and knowledge as a vet. And so that kind of added to the length of the career.
I remember watching you play, and I'm old school, kind of an old guy, probably the oldest. Kind of. But, I remember when safeties used to come up and just light people up, right? And you were kind of that guy.
Yeah, I think I've been fined around $300,000 in my career. I've been suspended from a game. I think I was getting a little picked on because the 1 year I had to, make football violent again, because the league changed all these rules about
a certain red hat that was made famous by somebody else. You kind of took that and said, make football violent again?
I think it was actually one of my buddies. It was like they had one that was like, make hockey violent again. And then someone just changed it to football. And then I wore it one time, and then SportsCenter put it on their Instagram. And then, yeah, I feel like I got flagged every play after that. No matter how hard the hit was, they were just throwing a flag.
How hard is it? And we just asked the same question to Sean Merriman. As a defensive player in today's NFL, with all the rules to protect guys, it put us in the mind of a safety. Receivers coming over the middle, ball is in the air. You've got milliseconds to make a decision on how you're going to light this guy up.
Jason, this sounds just like every appeal call I ever had with the league when I would get fined.
Take us through what those are like.
You try to explain it. You're saying, look, if I try to, put my head to the side and potentially miss a tackle, this guy's going to score a touchdown, and then I'm going to lose my job. So really, you're not really thinking about that. The only times you can kind of really control it is if a guy stood up, he's completely still,
and that happens all the time.
Right. And so, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, it's the game, it happens so fast. It's getting faster and faster. At times, sometimes it happens so fast, you kind of don't even know what happened at times. So you try to explain, like, look, it's a bang, bang play. I'm going at the proper height. I'm not going for his head. And sometimes even the receiver will try to get down to protect themselves, and they put their head in the line of contact. So it's not.
But it's your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault. And honestly, a lot of times it's the quarterback's fault. The quarterback now knows that they can just throw wherever, and if their guy gets hit in the head, that's an extra 15 on top of that.
Wow.
So they don't even have to worry about throwing balls over the middle and getting their guy killed, because to them that's an extra 15 yards for the drive. So unless it's like their star guy, they're not gonna, they won't throw it there. But other guys, they'll just toss it in there. They don't have to read the defenses as well as they used to, and have to worry about that type of deal with guys getting hit in the head. Because, like I said, the rule changes.
I've got to ask you. You say you're in this appeal process, trying to. Are you like in a courtroom? How does that work?
It's just on the phone. You have your agent, someone from your agency. You have a couple guys on the call. They let you explain kind of your side of the story of what happened and why it should be rescinded completely, if not deducted to like a lower amount. And just even the fine amounts are these arbitrary numbers. We have no idea where they came up with. Like, they're not just like even numbers. They always end in some weird.
Yeah.
There's no
$7,218 because your socks are wrong, right?
It's like it's not based on your salary. A first year rookie will get fined the same amount that a safety who's making $12 million a year. So it's I don't know. The fine system has always been. It is what it is. You can't really do anything about it.
Did you guys have? I don't know what the word is, but some sort of like kangaroo, or like the higher paid guys would help pay the fines of the lower paid guys, or were you on your own?
There was some times where if it was like just a total BS call, some guys would, say, I'll help you out with that. I don't know if they ever did, but they would at least say it. The worst is like, you can still get fined in the preseason games. So if a guy is a rookie, he could have a helmet to helmet contact hit. They'll fine him, whatever it is, like 21 grand. So if he doesn't make the team, doesn't make the roster, the fine obviously goes away. But let's say that guy makes the practice squad. Well, his practice squad check is not 21 grand a week. You know?
Yeah, like 3 weeks of work there.
Yeah, so then they prorate it. So then they're taking out a little bit of your practice squad.
So you're actually paying to be in the NFL.
Yeah, in some weeks you play for free. I think I got fined going into a playoff game, and then so basically like my next week's like bonus for the playoff game, basically I lost like almost all of it because they got fined from the week 17 game.
Between the fine and the taxes, you played for free.
Yeah, literally, I was out there playing for free, but. I love football, so it didn't matter.
That's awesome. Scariest wide receiver you ever faced?
Scariest wide? I mean, I know I got to play against Calvin Johnson in the division. Oh, wow. When I was younger, so that guy is obviously pretty good at football. Played against Julio Jones, Tyreek.
They're all pretty scary, huh?
Yeah. It's not really like scary. You just know how good they are and what type of issues they could create and potentially embarrass you in front of the world and your family and whoever.
Andrew Sendejo, former Smithson Valley Ranger. Your handler is giving us the rap signal, but I just got a message. We'll talk another time about what you're up to now that you're done playing in your product. But some dude named Patrick Bailey says, nice touch getting Andrew on. Good to hear from a Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Pat Bailey.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Former Ranger quarterback.
Nice.
One that actually could throw the ball.
Yes, that is not me.
Absolutely. What are you doing now?
So since I've been done, I've been working on this brain health supplement company, Braintree Nutrition. Formulated it with 2 other guys that went to Rice with me in consultation with neurologists, and we just wanted to make a line of products that help to enhance and preserve and protect your brain, really. Something that was safe that guys could take to help with memory, focus, coming back from concussions. And obviously that's just my last play, ironically, of my career was me getting completely knocked out. So it's interesting how that was where my post-career was going into creating products for guys to take to help with their brain health.
How do we get that?
You can go to BraintreeNutrition.com. You can find us on social media at Braintree Nutrition, and a lot of people just go on Amazon, Amazon Prime, add it to all the rest of your stuff. We donate a portion of our proceeds to Alzheimer's research, so we're really just here to help, man.
Good stuff. Andrew, good catching up to you, man.
Yes, sir. Good seeing you guys.
We'll see you again soon.
Yeah,
Andrew Sendejo joining us here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.